we're gonna see if this is gonna work. Because you know, when technology works, it's the most amazing thing ever. When it doesn't, it's not. So had OBS, I thought, set up this morning, ready to go. Left out of my house, had a couple things I wanted to try, and once again, it lets me down. So with that said, I'm actually thinking I'm getting pretty close to punting on OBS altogether. Just from trying to run that setup is just really complicated. But since I already had the stream planned, we're back to good old Prism. This is just, I guess, a classic stream. We're just gonna go explore Nashville some today. We will see how it goes. No guarantees, because of the nature of Prism. And the biggest struggle I had with Prism was mainly just the idea that if at any point my phone completely lost connection, it overheated, something happened software related on the phone. The issue was that in those scenarios, the stream would just die. And again, because of the nature, the way that Prism sets up the streams, it a lot of times would terminate and actually end the stream and not let me come back into it. But ultimately, I didn't really like the idea that, you know, if people were watching and something happened, again, I got disconnected, they just got the, I guess it's the loading pinwheel of death that comes up from YouTube. But I'll still continue to play with it some. I think ultimately implementing a solution myself is probably going to be cost imperative. Like, I like the idea of running a more sophisticated connection. However, what I think I'm finding is that sophisticated connection may just not be as necessary, just depending on viewership and viewers. I think, to be honest, simple may actually be better in this case, because I wasn't really looking for anything crazy overlays or anything crazy from that perspective. Now, the one thing I had played with specifically in OBS, which, you know, maybe I'll get a little bit crazy a little bit later on and try to get the overlay for it, but I wanted to try GPS tracking. There is a plugin actually for Twitch, but it's a plugin that essentially allows you to set it up where your location can be tracked and you can show it on a map overlay. So we'll see. But we'll see how today goes. Again, I don't know what the stream holds for today. May not be anything. There may not be anything super exciting for the day. It may be a boring stream. Where we are headed currently is to the Tennessee State Museum. The main reason I was going to go ahead and have the drive was because I was going to try the GPS overlay, which I guess I could stop down here and try to see if I can get it on Prism, because it is just a overlay. I've just got to get the URL, and I would have to also get it set up to be tracking me. I had the overlay all set up to where all I had to do was hit a button. I think ultimately my issue with OBS is a me problem, not a setup problem. And the me part of the problem is that I don't have a nice enough computer to be able to run OBS consistently. So what I saw, the main issue that I saw when I was trying to start today was that my frame rate was a whole whopping 7, which was not great. So again, no fancy technology, at least for now. I can technically try again later, but we'll see. But it's just how it goes when it comes to technology. But we'll see. Don't expect a lot of folks to hang out for the first part of the stream. It's going to be 100% driving down somewhat country roads. I guess we'll get to the interstate before too long. I'm actually thinking about the fact that I don't 100% know the most efficient way to get to the Tennessee State Museum, so this could be another interesting no GPS scenario. With no GPS, being able to navigate just based off of Nashville geography memory, oh, that's probably not a good thing. But again, headed to the State of Tennessee Museum that's located just a little bit north of Nashville. I guess it's just in North Nashville, but we'll see how it goes for the day. But again, wasn't exactly what I had planned for the stream for today, but I had already scheduled something, so I figured, hey, let's go ahead and start it, and it keeps me busy, I guess. I don't know. If you notice or don't notice, I probably sound awful. I either had COVID or the flu or man cold. I don't know what it was this last week, but spent the day and a half in bed not feeling super grand. So if I sound nasally or have congestion, I guess I'll apologize. I don't know. Normal people get sick too, right? But we are, again, headed toward the interstate to be able to head into Nashville. We'll see. Again, I really don't have any plans for today. My wife was headed out to a wedding, so I was kind of like, you know what, I'll try out streaming with OBS again. I know I did that last week and had some issues, made some tweaks. I thought I had everything set up and ready to go, but you know, best laid plans don't always work, so we're back to the tried and true Prism app, which I know a lot of people really like, a lot of people really dislike. I will say I can't weigh in that much. I know when we streamed last time from Disney, it did pretty well. The main issue, I guess the main issue I had was the first time, the first long stream I did that was 2 hours at Animal Kingdom, that for some reason Prism started, it said I was live, but then I had never gone live. So I spent 4 hours streaming and there was no actual stream. Learned my lesson on double checking to make sure you're actually live on that one. And then we also had, once I got it restarted, my phone overheated, and the issue is with my phone overheating, it just completely terminates the stream. And because of the way it terminates it, it is really hard to come back into. I know one of the things that I've looked at trying to investigate is, okay, if I had two phones, I leave the stream on one phone, but the stream stays open, can I reopen it easily on another? Well, I know if I'm using the fancier apps and I was using OBS at home, that's a super simple operation to switch phones, because that's ultimately, in my mind, I don't as much mind, you know, kind of the temporary drops, because if you have people watching and you're on a ride and it lags, or, you know, you're walking, or like right now I'm driving, if somebody's invested in listening to me driving, they're gonna stick around at this point. But it's mainly for, you know, a phone overheats and it's gonna be 5-10 minutes before you can get it cooled down. I would love to just be able to pull up another phone, throw it on the gimbal, and restart where I was, just with a different phone. You can always have a cheap backup phone. Not that I'm gonna buy a nice high-end phone to be the backup phone, but you can always have a cheap backup phone. But again, we'll be getting on the interstate here in a second. We get to go through this joyful divergent diamond intersection, which Nashville drivers have apparently learned how to use these. There's now 2 of them in Nashville, but it's always the little bit different. There may be more in your area, but we don't have a lot of them around here, but it's always that weird, you're driving on the wrong side of the road for a minute. They're supposed to be better for traffic flow. This one of the 2 in Nashville, in my opinion, is not as good for traffic flow, but it's okay. I'm also thankful for today that it is overcast, because that means the heat will not get me quite as much. So if anyone is watching that watched last week, you will remember that I'm driving around in the truck, and the truck does not have air conditioning. So I am thankful for the little bit of overcast. As I say that, of course, the sun's going to come out a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on that as well as we drive, because with the phone being up in the window, it can get a little bit hotter a little bit quicker. I do have fans in the truck, so I've got the standard fans for just where there would be air conditioning, and then I've got all our Disney fans that I carry around in the truck with us. So we've got the fans that we use on our mobility scooter, what we carry around with us to try to stay cool when I'm in the truck. But you know, it's not too bad actually today, as long as you're in the shade. But we'll see. We are headed to the Tennessee State Museum, which is inside and is air conditioned. It is also free, so it's definitely, if you're going to come visit Nashville, I would highly recommend the Tennessee State Museum. I've only actually been one other time. We actually went to the Tennessee State Museum as well as the Country Music Hall of Fame in the same day, as kind of a in-city vacation last year. But we will see. We'll also see how long my voice lasts, because I'm realizing that, you know, with having a cold last week, my voice is a little bit not happy. I do also have, and I may test that out at some point, I do have some wireless mics that I have that I'm kind of interested to see sound quality wise, if those would do anything. I don't know. I was going to test them. I tested them with the other app to make sure that they were compatible and work, but I did not test them with Prism, so that would be an interesting test as well. Hey, the Disney Baker. Hope you're having a good day today. Thanks for saying hello. It makes me feel good to at least see one person and one message, mainly just so that I know I'm not well, I talk to myself a lot. We'll just say it that way. Talking to myself is not something that's weird, just because I talk to myself a lot. But again, we'll see. Not much interesting stream-wise at this point. Headed to the Tennessee State Museum. I don't actually know how long it's going to take us to get there. I was talking a little bit earlier on the stream. It's a little bit concerning to a certain extent, because I don't actually know. I don't exactly know how to. Well, I know where it is, but I don't really know the most efficient way to get there. I've lived in Nashville basically my whole life. I've lived in Nashville my entire driving life, but I don't know the roads as well as I probably should. So it may be an interesting navigation trip here. Well, there we go. But Nashville is I would say Nashville is a big city. It's where I have lived essentially my entire life. Lived a shorter amount of time in East Tennessee. Was actually born in Florida. If only I'd stayed in Florida. Was born in Florida, so I guess I'm a native Floridian by birth. There are times I wish I was in Florida, mainly just so I could be in Orlando and be closer to Disney, just because it would be nice to be able to, you know, have my day trip today to be running over to Disney and hanging out at Disney instead of the Tennessee State Museum. But it'll have to do for today. Let's see, there's my good old, the device is hot warning. It's again, what I was kind of worried about with the sun coming back out, and I'm gonna try some fun here. I do have my little fan. The problem is that I do not have it where I can easily point it at the phone. yeah, I could definitely say wireless mic in the car would definitely be nice. Probably should have set it up for this morning, but yeah, didn't think about it. But let's see if I can keep the phone cool enough, and actually that's what I need to do. Oh, that's what's keeping it hot. I always, you know, I'm a smart guy sometimes, apparently, but I always forget, you know, the concept that's the very, very simple concept that if your phone is plugged in and charging, that means the phone's going to get hot, because charging means it's inducing things, so it's going to be hot. Again, we'll hope that my phone doesn't decide to have a panic attack and die. Check the feel. It doesn't actually feel that hot, so we'll see. It's just sitting up in a window. It's always a little bit hard. So I think I know how I'm going to get to the Tennessee State Museum, but again, it's going to be somewhat of an adventure. I also thought about taking you guys by the Parthenon. So, little known fact about Nashville, but the Parthenon is actually the only full-size recreation of the Greece Parthenon that exists. So Nashville has a full-size Parthenon that just exists in Nashville. It was part of the centennial or bicentennial for Tennessee. I don't know when it was built, and originally it was meant to be temporary, but it did actually end up being permanent. Fire trucks going the other way. Yeah, Graceland, I've lived in Tennessee since I was 4 years old, and I have never been to Graceland. Not much of an Elvis person when it comes to music, but Rebecca actually went last year or year before last with some friends. They had a really good time and had fun. It's just not really my thing. I am a history person. I do like history. However, when it comes to kind of music history, I guess I'm just not as interested. I like music. I like all music from kind of a music perspective, so it's specific musical artists are not always as appreciated by me. There's not, you know, specific artists that I'm really, really happy with. Not sure what's going on here. So the speed limit on 440 is 55, but most people do about 75, 80 on it. So getting stuck by somebody doing 45 is a little bit strange for this area, but we'll get around again. I don't 100% know. I kind of know where I'm going. I've kind of decided in my mind how I'm going to get there. Another positive, if you ever come visit Nashville, and reason to come to the Tennessee State Museum, beyond the fact that it's free, is also the fact that the parking is free too, which is not true of a lot of Nashville downtown things. So I don't know if y'all will be able to continue to hear me, because I've got the fan now on the phone just to make sure that I keep it as cool as I can, since it's out in the sun now, which, of course, you know, I made the mention about how it was a little bit more overcast, so it wouldn't be as hot, and you guys can see that beautiful blue sky there that is definitely going to make things more interesting for today. I wish I could turn the camera, because that is, as you fly over that bridge there on 440, it's one of the few places you do actually get a decent view of what I would, I guess, call the Nashville skyline. I'm not really sure Nashville has a skyline anymore. I think that's true of a lot of modern cities these days. There's so many new buildings that have been built. It's just not recognizable anymore. I could go, I'm weighing my options on different ways to go. Because if I take you guys down 21st, we can actually go downtown and then back out of downtown. Give you guys a little bit more of an actual view of the city area. Might also be a little bit cooler. So trying to decide if there's a way I could get the fan clipped on a little bit better to hit the camera, but it is technically in the shade at the moment, so yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll run the downtown. This will actually take us by the Parthenon, so maybe we'll go ahead and stop at the Parthenon for a second. Lived in Nashville basically my whole life, but I've never lived in downtown, and I guess that's something that, you know, I think people that live in larger cities tend to understand that, you know, you don't have, not everyone lives in the city. People live in the suburbs or in the outer areas, so there are a lot of people that, you know, might go, well, I'm from Atlanta, but that doesn't specifically mean that you grew up in downtown Atlanta or that you grew up around the corner from the Coke Museum or something like that. I should have gone 40 through if I was going to go this route, but again, we're just exploring. I guess I'm just wasting gas for today. If only I had AC, this would not be too bad. That's the one challenge I'm going to have having gotten off here is I'm going to lose my wind. I'm also going to start going into the sun, which was not what I really planned to do. We're going to roll down the windows again to make sure I've got enough airflow to breathe and survive. So you might not be able to hear me very well. But we'll head in and we'll go. We can run down through downtown and then we'll cut up in order to get, I think we'll cut up in order to get to the museum. Hopefully keep enough wind flow coming through the car to keep the phone cooled down. It's still yelling at me about being too hot, but I can't actually remember if the warning ever goes away. But we're not charging anymore. We'll be able to charge once we get into the museum. I guess I definitely should have plugged in the wireless mic, because then you might have actually been able to hear me. I suspect right now it's probably just a whole lot of gobbledygook. We'll head toward downtown area. We're into more of the metropolitan area. This does give you a good idea of, you know, how big Nashville is. We've been running for about 25 minutes and I'm still, while I technically live in Davison County, which is metropolitan Nashville, I'm still 25 minutes that we've been driving both interstate and getting off. Now, I didn't go quite the whole direct route, but we are just now getting closer into what I would call the downtown area. I could actually, well, we could drive down Music Row. This is where I'm going to get myself lost, just letting you guys know. Hey, Park Bros. Hope you're having a good day today. We're going to see how this goes and the hilarity of, you know, this is one of those streams. I say this is what happens when you have real people that produce content. So had lots of plans for setting up for today, and none of them have happened. So I'm using good old Prism to stream. I had some ideas of what I wanted to do. We'll see if any of those actually happen. Ended up in my truck with no AC, and now we're just gonna drive around downtown Nashville, I guess, as we head. So, but this is, I was trying to look to see, Vanderbilt's around here somewhere, but this is kind of the Music Row area, which, you know, Music Row has grown up and changed so much that there's not really anything to see on Music Row anymore. Classic Nashville is gone. All the historical sites, historical buildings, and everything really historical is gone. There are still some, but not to the extent. So this is Music Row. And there are, you know, recording studios that are still here. There are some music kind of management companies, but a lot of those have moved out or moved around. So you can see there's still some small little houses around here, but everything's kind of been revitalized and rejuvenated. It doesn't really have the classic feel that at one time Nashville had. It's still kind of a touristy thing. People will come walk down Music Row. It's a little bit, I would say it's a little bit far out of Nashville. If I was visiting Nashville and I just wanted to, you know, I didn't want to have to get an Uber and I just wanted to be able to walk, I would not recommend walking to Music Row. You would want to take an Uber. And then there's not a whole lot here to specifically see. You can see kind of the studios, but you don't really go tour them or go in. There is a studio tour associated with the Country Music Hall of Fame. So if you come to Nashville and you want to go to the Country Music Hall of Fame, there is a Studio B tour that you can do. That one I haven't done, but from what I hear, I would recommend it. But again, you can see there's lots of kind of music-y, kind of, all these little buildings along here are quote-unquote either music studios or production companies or some sort of music-affiliated area. Now, there's also other businesses that have come in. It's not all music-related, but it originally was the place to be for music recording. And actually, the house up here on the left, I think it's that one that was Dean's Kitchen. So if you watch the show Nashville, the house from Nashville that the main guy owns was around here. Show Nashville did showcase a good bit of Nashville in the beginning, but a lot of that changed. There's a Well House Coffee there on the right. So you've got Belmont University that is also kind of nestled into this area, and you've got Belmont Church that kind of sits on the outside. They're not 100% associated. I don't actually remember if they're associated at all now that I think about it, but we'll continue to move forward here as we get into what, again, you deem more downtown Nashville. This area now that we've gotten here, I would kind of consider this the downtown area. We're going to get to see. So, Nashville, unfortunately, has become known for party buses and party tours. Well, check out here on the left, we've got a monster truck full of people. And essentially, unfortunately, that's what Nashville has become for bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, going downtown. Everybody wants to do a bus ride up and down, and a lot of them they're kind of, I would almost call them the equivalent of a booze cruise if you live somewhere that there's water. But you go up and down Broadway on a bus or a monster truck or a tractor or a pedal tavern or one of those, and essentially the concept is to get intoxicated, which, you know, that may be your thing. Intoxication may be your thing, but it changes a lot of the dynamic of downtown Nashville and what it once was. I would say Broadway is a fun place to come walk up and down as a tourist. Locals you will not see around Broadway downtown. So we're coming across the bridge here, across 40, which is the main interstate that runs through Nashville, and we'll actually head down Broadway. I couldn't remember if West End turned into Broadway, but it does. So essentially what we have been on has been the main drag, or we weren't on West End. I turned. I don't know. I'm not a directions person when it comes to, I'm very directionally challenged. So, again, I'm headed to the Tennessee State Museum, and I know that it's somewhere off to the left from where we are currently. That's my geographical knowledge. But you can see there's a lot of people down here. Again, it's not as much of an area where locals are going to come. It's much more a tourist area. So this is not Broadway. What I want to do is actually cut over to Broadway, because that'll be more interesting to go down Broadway. This is Demonbreun. I do kind of know the downtown area. So here off to the left, and we'll actually be going through their parking lot, is the Frist Art Museum, which is Nashville's kind of fine art museum, and kind of what you would be if you're going to, and if you want to go to a more high-end art museum in Nashville, the Frist is where you're going to go. I have been a whole bunch of times. It is nice. They do have a whole lot of promotions that they run, so if you're visiting, definitely take a look. Sometimes entry is free depending on who you are. I know students, I think students are always free certain times, but I do somewhat know this area. Not the best, but speed bumps. But I do somewhat know this area. You can see there's a big hotel that didn't used to be there in front of us. But so we're going to come down here, and this will actually turn us on to Broadway, which is the main drag of Nashville downtown. And we'll go all the way down Broadway, and then we'll cut up and head to the Tennessee State Museum from there. I just figured since we were driving through, I might as well show you guys Broadway. I'm not stopping, I'm not getting out, I'm not going to walk you guys around Broadway. Broadway is, again, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, it's not an area locals really would go, and it's also busy. It's also really hard parking-wise. Nashville has grown up really quick, and so there's not a lot of parking options, and the parking options can be very expensive. The Music City Center, which is the conference center, is one of the best parking spots in Nashville. Has a big indoor garage, but it's still a couple blocks off Broadway, and it can be hard to get in and out of. And then depending on events that are going in, sometimes their event parking can be expensive as well. I'm going to get a little bit of fan rolling on my phone again because we're driving into the sun here, so it's hitting the phone. I do have the windows up currently because it actually is not too crazy hot. I should be knocking on something when I say that. It'll be crazy hot by the time we come out of the Tennessee State Museum, and I'll molt. But we've got Hume Fogg off to the left, which is actually one of the kind of high-end magnet schools in Nashville. It is a magnet, and it is straight downtown, so it's definitely in prime real estate area for Nashville. And we've got the arena coming up here down on the right. That's where the Nashville Predators hockey team plays, as well as it's a big concert venue. So if you've ever come to Nashville specifically for a concert, most likely it's in Bridgestone Arena that's down here on the right. We'll roll past it and we'll go down toward Waterfront Park. This place gets kind of crazy for New Year's. They've started running a whole lot of New Year's parties and New Year's activities that are going on. So at New Year's they claim that there's 50,000 people that hang out in the street. Hey, all aboard with Blake. Thanks for checking out the craziness for today. This was not what I had planned and not what I was expecting, but I figured, why not? So giving you a little bit of a tour of downtown Nashville. We're going to run to the Tennessee State Museum. I had also thought about having some sort of Disney talk or having Disney of some sort, but there's not even a Disney store in Nashville. It's really sad. There used to be. I missed being able to go to the Disney. See, at least then I could go run to the Disney store and we'd still have Disney-related content, but I don't think Disney on Ice is playing anytime soon at Bridgestone. We did go to see Disney on Ice at Bridgestone Arena. That was 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago. It was really good. It was funny because we went to see Disney on Ice and then we decided to go to Disney right after that. And we were like, yeah, we probably wouldn't have planned to do Disney on Ice if we had realized we were going to have a trip to the real Disney. So we got the fake Disney and then we got the real Disney. So we're pulling up now on this area that is what you consider Broadway. And when people think of Lower Broad, we're now on Lower Broad. This is where people come that are tourists to hang out, see the honky-tonks, see the bars, have dinner. And maybe someday I'll bring the stream down here and we'll walk up and down Broadway and kind of see what's going on and kind of get the vibe. To be honest, as a Nashville native, I've never come down here just to go walk up and down Broadway. It's the only time we've been down here is when there's something that I have to be down here for. We do the Veterans Day Parade. We walk with my wife's nonprofit in that. So those are usually the only times that I come to this downtown area. If you keep an eye out here, there's a bus we're going to pass on the left that has a Longhorn on the front of it. But this is the kind of typical Nashville party bus, where there are people that are just having a good time at, you know, this is 11 o'clock in the morning Nashville time, that are people that they're having fun. Not the type fun that I go for, but having fun. So I'm going to roll the windows down a little bit. You probably won't be able to hear me very well, but you might be able to hear some of the music. This is what you hear going down Broadway. And I don't know how the musicians do it, because they are side by side in some of these places where, you know, one's playing and the other one's playing right next door. Now this is where navigation will get a little bit dicey. As we come to the end of Broadway, so you get down to the end of Broadway and you get to Riverfront Park, which is the riverfront. And I don't actually know how to get where I want to go. So it'll be a little bit dicey navigation-wise. We'll figure it out. There's one of the paddle taverns there on the right. It's a little bit early in the day for a pedal tavern. If we were down here at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, this place would be wall-to-wall people, and all these pedal taverns would be completely and totally stacked with people. But again, we made it to the end of Broadway. Across the river is the old Nashville Stadium. They are building a new football stadium. We won't go over there to the other side of the river, but we're going to take a left, and then we're going to attempt to get to the Tennessee State Museum. Partially because it's also starting to get hotter in the day, don't have AC in the car, and it would be nice to get inside and actually get to show you guys, which I think I'll try no one will remember to remind me, but I'll try to do the wireless mic once we get into the Tennessee State Museum. I did check online, and there wasn't anything specifically against videography of any kind. The one main notice they had was no corporate videography without permission. So I was like, this isn't corporate. This is not I'm not even monetized, so this isn't technically even for profit. I don't know what this is for. This is for me. But so this is kind of Riverfront Park. This is the back side of some of the older buildings in Nashville, but to the right is the river. This is where it's a little bit crazy, but there was a Nashville flood in 2010, and the river actually came up and above this water line here and flooded a lot of this low-lying area. And you know, I've lived here my entire life. I have no clue what that is on the right. Let's see. It's some sort of... Oh, it's Fort Nashboro. Okay. Fort Nashboro, yes, is downtown, the downtown Nashville Fort. I always think of that as being at... Yeah, I don't ever think of that as actually being here. But, so we're going to go up toward Capitol Hill, and then we'll come back down and see if we can find the Tennessee State Museum. Yeah, so we're going to go left because it is closed. Again, as I said, this is where this gets a little bit dicey because navigation-wise, I don't really know where... I know where I want to go, but I don't know how to exactly get there. I did work downtown for a short amount of time. Yeah, I mean, it was probably 2 years, but I worked downtown for a little while. So you would think that I would know where I was going, but that doesn't mean much. But it is nice and cooler here in between the buildings as I'm driving, so I'm not sweating too much as I'm following the Snooky Shop bus. It's the type of fun advertisements you get in Nashville. Make sure you do have to be very careful, just like any city, but you got to be very careful driving through downtown Nashville because people don't always like to look before they cross the street. This is Printer's Alley. Yeah, I think I probably should have stayed straight instead of turning left. If I had turned to the right, it had gone up on the bridge. It's interesting that there's a speed hump right there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go around the long way. If I had gone, yeah, I know kind of where I am now and know enough to know that I went a poor direction. But appreciate you guys jumping in and saying hi. Maybe I'll get to something more interesting here after a little bit, but... Oh, I wish I could turn the camera around. There is a cool car. Well, you know, it always throws me too. Oh gosh, that's loud. It always throws me too because it's like, you know, if you stream something that has content worth talking about, you have a subject to talk about, and you can at least narrate to yourself. The challenge I have with streams like this one is I'm like, you know, Nashville's not that over-the-top interesting to me. I've lived here my whole life. It's like if I had a friend that wanted to like see the area and I was gonna show him around, I'd tell him to go take one of the trolley tours. But it's just kind of the way it goes. Okay, I think I'm on the right road now to get me down to where I need to be for the Tennessee State Museum, which is in Centennial Park. I always get Centennial Park and Bicentennial Park confused in Nashville. One has the Parthenon, one doesn't. Yeah, I would say you're not missing anything if you haven't been to the Snooky Shop. But this is a lot of Nashville, and you can get stuck. Thankfully, it's morning still, so it's not high traffic time, but there are times that, you know, I could have gotten down here and it might have taken me 45 minutes to get out of Nashville because you can see the road infrastructure is just not that much. looks like they're doing some work on the state capitol. Again, you guys can't see that, but here we got another trolley tour going by. Yeah, so there are some great old homes in Nashville. There's also some great kind of gigantic homes. There's some monsters that are in Belmead that are just crazy. Now, and that could also be technically a stream I could do, is go to Cheekwood. So Cheekwood is a botanical gardens, but there's also a large estate associated with the Cheekwoods as well. May not be able to hear me. I'm blowing the fan on the phone again because it popped up again and said the device is getting hot. I'm also running old technology. My phone is like 4 or 5 years old, so I'm actually kind of impressed that it can keep up at all. But we'll see again how it goes. So that's municipal, so I need to come down here and turn left. Maybe I need to keep going straight first. Yes, I think I need to keep going straight first. Again, I'm directionally challenged, and so me trying to navigate without GPS is really just not a smart thing, but it's what we get today. Anyway, my phone is really hot, so we're gonna get the fan back on it again. I think it was just that little section there. We were in the sun a little bit longer, and we get the windows down so we can get a cross draft going. Yeah, that's usually the Disney Baker, where 99% of my views come from. Is from people on the multi-view that just ancillarily, you know, hit the play button but keep me muted. I don't blame you. Keep me as the muted stream. I would much rather be watching a Disney stream than watching me go to the Tennessee State Museum, but I know a lot of people will do their testing of technology and testing of streaming on like a private stream. I'm kind of like, it's up to you guys if you want to watch or not watch, so I'm not going to force you to watch and twist your arm, but I also would give people the opportunity to enjoy me talking to myself for for a couple hours. Okay, now I have to remember, I think I can turn left here. So this is now Centennial Park. It also backs up to where the, let's see if that guy's gonna go. It also backs up to where the baseball stadium is, where the, I don't even know what the name of the team is. That shows how much of a fan I am. Yeah, it is. It's hot in Nashville, but it's not as hot as it has been. It was very, very hot yesterday, the last couple days. Okay. I love the make eye contact and then still cross the street even though I'm coming. Now, parking could be interesting because the parking is actually at the Tennessee Farmers Market, which can get really, really busy. But usually it's not too bad, so we'll see. And you know, if my phone overheats or if I can't find parking, I do reserve the right to punt, and but it would feel really nice to go into the Tennessee State Museum right now. Okay, so we'll row through the Tennessee Farmers Market. The free parking for the Tennessee State Museum is actually that building that you see way down on the other side. This could be problematic because all these people are waiting on people to leave and waiting on parking spots. And I'm kind of like, I don't want to wait on a parking spot, I just want to go to the other side. Can we not go around? These people are taking their sweet time loading up. there's another spot down there that somebody could take. Still got okay. She went down hard. I was like, I didn't even see her. I just saw I heard the sound. But I wanted to make sure she was all right. I'm like, I don't want one of these parking spots right here. I want one of the parking spots way down here, but we'll see. Stuck with people trying to get out of here that are blocking up the place. I didn't really anticipate parking being as big of an issue as it might end up being, because this is like gridlock. I don't want to come back down into here. You can also park in Centennial Park and walk over, so if I have to park in Centennial Park I will, but I'm definitely not coming back this direction. Where I want to park is way down here on this side, which I guess I should have come around and entered the parking lot from down here, because I may have much more luck finding a spot back here. This is a much larger lot back this direction, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I will park in the first spot that I find. I don't see any, unfortunately. I don't see anybody coming out either. This could be a circling game. We're gonna go around and see if I can park at the on the other side and see if there's any parking in the park. There are tons of people coming in, and there are not a lot of people coming out from the looks of it. So again, there's the Tennessee State Museum. Oh, that's a handicap spot. That doesn't help me. Right here. Texas. Yeah, so there's parking all along here too. This is where that was, but what we can actually do is we can also park on the other side of the park. We would just have to walk across, which ideally I don't want to because it's hot outside, but again, I don't want to get caught in the flood of cars forever, and I'd rather get inside to where it's air conditioned. Yeah, I think that 81 that it was when you said to Disney Baker, I think it's definitely going to pop up really quick from there. And the problem is you got all sorts of people here that are trying to load and unload stuff. Like you're fine. Welcome to Nashville traffic. haven't checked to see what my battery's at. I'm still at 81%, which isn't horrible. I was like, is that a parking spot? And I'm like, no, it can't be a parking spot. It's interesting. I think there used to be parking on both sides of this road at one time. Alright, so now the question is, do I try the parking lot one more time, or do I go park on the other side? I can probably go park on the other side, because there's some parallel spots that I've parked in before, even when I've gone downtown. Ooh, that person got a spot. They were lucky. Now, granted, I could try that same loop I did going the other direction, because that actually did look like it might fare all right. I don't know. Let's see how many times I can circle around and around and around. Alright, let's try once more through the normal parking lot. Mainly because I don't want to have to walk that far in the heat. And it's not currently horrible. I'm just thinking more about when I come out, it's going to be hot. Up and there's too many people. No, I'm not doing that. I'm changing my mind here. Sorry. I was like, that's gonna be gridlock. I was like, I'm not interested in getting into gridlock. Come down here and we'll come in the far side and we'll try one more time going through that parking lot, but part of the problem is it's like they probably should have built a whole nother lot specifically for. It doesn't look like that's backed up. Make sure I didn't get stuck in that garbage back there, but yeah, there's too many people back here circling. Alright, well, we're going to go, what we're going to do is I'm going to go around to the other side of the park and we'll just walk over from there. I think there's some parking on that side, but I don't want to get stuck in this loop-de-loop unless somebody just happens to be pulling out, which I doubt it. Interested in what that car is trying to do over there. Sorry, I got distracted. There's too many people trying to make too many different moves on the road because they're all wanting to find a parking spot, and I'm like, there ain't no spots. Oh, okay. Yeah, like, go ahead. You're already in the middle of the road. Alright, so parking has been the problem of the day. I promise you, I intend to get to the Tennessee State Museum, but well, I was going to pull out in front of Mr. Trolley Tours, but maybe I should have taken a trolley tour to get here. Maybe that would have been more efficient. Alright, so there's the actual Tennessee State Museum. That's where we're trying to get to. okay, it's officially gotten toasty, roasty hot. You know, it wasn't bad, and that's where I'm like, if I could have found a parking spot and gotten inside quickly, I would have been like, this is nice. This was a nice day. The problem is that is not the case currently. But now I just need to get to the other side of the park. I wish I'd brought a hat. But I won't need the hat once I get inside. Oh gosh, the light changed already. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Turn, because that's where I was. Kind of forgot I should have come up and come this way around. But hey, we'll get to see Centennial Park as well. Not that I had intended to show you Centennial Park. And they have it blocked off down here. This is just going to be the 4-hour tour. Well, it's one way from the other side, but that's interesting. Because that's really where I want to park, is on that strip right there. There's some parking, and I think it's 2-hour parking or an 1.5-hour parking, whatever it is. It's for the park. Here's the baseball stadium. Glad there's not a game going on. Sorry that I haven't gotten to much content here. That giant monster truck that we saw earlier. And I'm going to get to be stuck behind now, again. That would be hot. Where I gotta decide how greedy I want to be, because there should be some parking spots available through here, but I don't know how many. We're just gonna take the first one and see down here. Yeah, hold on. A little bit further. Here we go. Okay. Hey, look, we finally got a parking spot. All right, so now we can walk to the Tennessee State Museum, but before we do that, I'm going to drink some water. Nope, nope, that's the wrong camera. Nope, still the wrong camera. Hey, how's it going, guys? Sorry, I didn't turn it on to me while we were driving because I think that was probably a smart thing, but hope everybody's having a good day. I'm excited to get in the air conditioning. That's really my main priority at this point. I guess I'll stick with the new gimbal. We'll see if it goes bad. I got the other one in here. Let's see if I can find my external mic. Well, I got some of it. I got the mic piece of it. This is a super cheap external mic, so it probably isn't going to actually do me any good. And I don't even remember. I don't even know if it'll show me the levels or anything. Well, maybe. So, it looks like I have the... Oh, there it is. I was like, I've got to have the transmitter here somewhere. This nice little transmitter actually has a charging port on it, so you technically could still be able to pass through charge. Excuse me. Alright, so let's just plug this in and see what it does. I don't actually know how to test this, is my problem. Because I can't hear it. And there's nowhere that I see that has, like, mic settings on it. I've never done anything with a mic on Prism before. So it could be working, it might not be working. Like that. Yeah, and there's nothing that says anything about, like, audio levels or anything. Oh, there it is. Test. Okay. So now let me pull this. Is there any difference? Yes, it looks like there may be. No? Test. Plug the sucker back in. I'm also going to go ahead and... Sorry. The phone cool down some because it's getting really hot. Hope y'all are going to get the ceiling view. Okay, so I think that's working. Granted, you're going to get to hear me cough. I don't know where I'm going to attach this. I'll attach it on the backpack once the backpack is there. Actually, let me take the case off real quick, because I think that's probably where some of my heat's coming. Hold on. Oh gosh, we're roasting. Ow. Hold on. Sorry, I'm in like super roasting at the moment in the case, and so I'm kind of worried that it's going to crash in any second now. We are in the shade right here, so I kind of would have gimbal so that I can touch it because it's that hot at the moment. Well, the problem is I don't remember which way is up in this gimbal. Okay. Yeah, definitely should not have left it in the case up there. Okay, there we go. I got the up direction right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll try to get inside where it's going to be. Let me just throw these in my pocket. Well, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm just worried about my phone because it's super, super hot right now. So we're gonna try to go ahead and get outside, but also get into the museum because it is air conditioned. So bear with me here for a couple minutes. I didn't grab the, hold on. Well, and for some reason my battery light is on. Stop. You know, most people are prepared and ready to go. I'm apparently not. Let me get the tripod foot on. There you go. Okay, set you guys down. If I can get in the bag. Okay, let's get out and get into the fresh air. Okay. Does feel a lot nicer outside. Okay, I'm gonna go back to rear. Keep you guys on the wide for the moment. Okay, so we have made it, but now we get to walk all the way across and down and around. It does feel nice in the shade though, but I gotta walk across the non-shade to get to, let me walk down in the shade a little bit further first. Again, I think I'm in pretty heavy overheating territory, but it actually feels really nice here in the shade with the wind blowing. So I'm hoping that will cool down the phone enough. Because at least to me, not being in the truck, it feels good. Hopefully I'll remember where I parked. I'm gonna have to start charging as soon as we get in because I haven't been charging because of the heat. I don't want to walk over yet because I still got shade here. And I'm all about the shade. You know, shade is something that I appreciate. Yes, let's go ahead and go across now. But whew, we're getting closer there, guys. We are going to be at the Tennessee State Museum here in like 5 minutes, maybe. As long as I don't get heat stroke on the walk over there. But it is that building in the background now. But we'll pause as we come across here and we'll take a look at Capitol Hill. So there's the Tennessee State Capitol building up on top of the big hill there with some of the, I guess what you would call Nashville skyline. Not sure whether you call that the Nashville skyline or not, but go over here and look at some of the memorial stuff over here. Always the fun water ball. And we'll check this out on the way back out. Again, I'm hot. I'm not sweating like profusely though. Seeing there's still all these people backed up trying to get in and out of this parking lot. Nope, that person's not turning. Okay. This is the Bill Haslam Tennessee State Museum. Get on my other mode here. Yes, I know. I'm now getting yelled at again because the device is too hot. And I'm like, if you'll just wait. Over here to the shade. There is a good amount of wind, so. This is kind of the back entrance, but I don't think this building really has a main entrance to it. It's one of those. I just want to get in where it is cool. That's my main goal. I did check the hours too. I was like, they better actually be open. I'm like, it said it was gonna be open. Oh, air conditioning. Air conditioning is a beautiful thing. Okay, let's come in and have a seat while we cool down. Okay. Let me see. Okay, that's the hilarity. Let's see if we can get much better cooling wise already. What? No. Yes. Yeah, got it. Thank you. Yeah, I remember that from before. Is that they don't like backpacks. It's always funny they don't like backpacks thing because they don't want you to hit anything, which is always kind of like, seriously. I'm more likely to hit things going backwards. She was just real friendly, and I'm like, I have been here before. It is nice up here, though. Alright, so I guess I'm going to turn it back. Actually, I can't even really turn it backwards. Let me figure out what to do. See what the front. It doesn't really work. So now we're going to park. Okay. If I can get the mic situated, I guess that's going to be as situated as I can. Okay, we'll see if that works. If not, I'm not really that worried about it. That's nice. So this is an area just talking about the Tennessee history. Cool. Specifically talking about the forming of Tennessee. Right sheets, I'm gonna have to go pro here. Yeah.
In this time of rapid change, Southeastern Indian nations preserve their cultural traditions while adapting to new circumstances.
There's over 560 tribal nations on the North American continent. We all each have our own distinct cultures, our own identities, our own languages, and whereas some of these tribes aren't here today, they are part of American history. For a long time, many American tribes today, we're taking on
It's talking about the Paleontological cultural period of Tennessee. Big giant jawbone. Interesting bones. I do remember from last time coming through here, kind of went through this area pretty quick because this is not the area of course it's slightly, this was the same issue I had last time when it came. There was something opening, I guess you guys can't see that very well, but it's like it's not opening until August 5th. But it's like we're close, just not close enough. Again, we're going to go through the section pretty quick. It is nice and cool in here though, so I can't really complain. And at least it looks like you guys can hear me okay from the volume balance. The Mississippian cultural period. So still Indian areas. With some trade. A frock coat. There's some long rifles. They're kind of hard to see, but I think there's some that'll be a little bit better pictured here later. Tennessee River area. We got giant canoe. It's like that is one giant long canoe. Imagine flipping that thing and trying to unflip it. That would not be fun. Okay, we see some actual settlement safety stuff. So we get 1769. I guess when things get more interesting. The battle at Fort Nashville, so that was what we drove past. So that was that little fort that we drove past that's right on the riverfront. The state of Franklin. It's like I'm not much on watching all the videos, so. American Revolution, so American Revolution stuff. The Over Mountain Men. So settlers were called the Over Mountain Men. Definitely does look correct based on what I have seen in the period TV shows, which are probably not correct at all. There's a better picture of the musket. Switch back to the standard. Yeah, one big musket. Some more stuff there. That is certainly a long barrel rifle. Like, I can't imagine trying to these sabers don't look very sharp. Like, they don't look like they would actually do anything. But so we'll keep. Yeah. Okay, so this is that blocked off section. Let me get over here to the printing press, printing shop. Reminds me a lot of the Spaceship Earth printing shop. I think I can see this one a little bit clearer than I can the Spaceship Earth one, but I guess the Spaceship Earth is meant to be closer to the actual invention of the printing press, where this is period for Tennessee. I'm interested to see what are they printing. Actually, you can't actually see what they're printing there, but mission. Chickamauga Creek, near Chattanooga. Okay. And we kind of come back here and we get Tennessee. What is it? In the War of 1812. There's some old dudes. Don't you wish they did paintings like that still today? You could be painted in oil painting and always remember. Talks about Andrew Jackson. 1808 musket. Again, so long. Like, you just imagine trying to carry that. And it's like, you see them in movies, but you don't ever think about it. It's like if you were trying to carry that, it would not be easy. Spanning the backs of Tennessee. Looks like it's a telegraph receiver. Okay. So you have the sender and the receiver. There's a little coin purse. Imagine just having to carry that. Not having to carry any bags. Again, more of the photos. At least these, they're like halfway smiling. They're not like awkwardly staring. Like, they're awkwardly staring, but they're not. And there's a dulcimer. Dulcimer by Dr. Neil McNeil. Oh, wow. Hackett County crafted his dulcimer to play church hymns. So my great-grandfather made dulcimers.
have a couple, I guess I have one on my wall. There's still a couple in the family that he made. All piled on some. Okay, so now we've got the Candidate Jackson, Andrew Jackson stuff. So he's kind of the original. We got Sam Houston. The guitar. Big pocket nipples. It's a silver pitcher. That's definitely more ornate than we think of for 1843. But it was in supporting Henry Clay in the 1844 presidential election. He lost the election, but he won Tennessee. Another ornate silver there. Talking about women in political campaigns. We'll walk back through it again here. The Indian Removal Act. Now there's a fancy hat right there. See, I like that hat. There's a hat box that's actually belonged to Andrew Jackson. Got the pistol back there. We'll keep on moving on to James A. Polk. Polk here. American expansion. So there was an ask for 2,800 recruits and more than 30,000 Tennessee volunteered. Be where Tennessee volunteers come from. Just trying to see what we have here. Okay, this is talking about the Indian treaties leading to the Trail of Tears. Here's the actual Trail of Tears plaque. I was like, I'm missing something here. Indian Removal Act. Alright, so now we hit Tennessee in the 1820s to 1860s. Henderson County. Silversmith. Come back here. I remember this from last time. It's kind of weird because this like awkwardly dead ends down here. Citrus Martha Beard. This had a whole lot of other stuff back here last time. Cotton gin, I'm thinking. Yes, cotton gin. I think there's a whole room on the Civil War, if I remember correctly. I'm getting closer there. I think I'm more interested in your Civil War and Reconstruction. Fort Donelson. So this whole area is talking about Civil War. Let me go back to one here, a little bit darker. That area around here. Yeah, it's a big area back here for just the Civil War area. Davis. Family. Where's the Nashville Chancellor? Yeah, we're moving about a couple of these areas back here. It's not as easy to kind of follow the timeline. Because it's talking about colored troops working for the Union Army. It doesn't, the main area I think had more of a history. Down to the military governor. Because I think more of what I'm interested in is the actual stuff. That's the recreations of some of the stuff out here. Interested in the long rifles, the little fluffy caps. Became an undertaker during the Civil War. He was a grave digger. William, it's William R. Cornelius. Alright, let me keep on rolling forward here. Don't plan to spend hours and hours here. So, okay, we're getting 1870 and 1945. The Spanish-American War. Always wars. You go from war to war. That's a nice still. Prohibition. Different areas there. It's McMinnville. Good. Anderson County. One really long. Whatever that is. Women's suffrage. Equal rights. Fighting segregation. Check out that dress. Check out the bicycle. There we go. Good luck riding that sucker. That's a little bit better. I think that one's more realistic. I could probably at least go a little bit on that. It's a fixed, though. It doesn't have a chain on it. So I guess we jumped into World War I, 1920s. I guess this is talking about a Maldi show. So cool looking car. Yeah. I'm guessing that's a radio, cathedral radio. It's kind of interested in what. Oh, no, here we go. There's your typewriters, typing machines. I mean, that looks more of what I think we would be used to seeing, or at least saying we were seeing. Let's see what it is. It's a beaten biscuit machine. Simplified the labor's task of kneading dough. So it's dough that you would run through there with the engine. Okay, I get it. Piano. It's a pretty piano. Look into you.
Sharecroppers were hit especially hard, spiraling deeper into the debt every season.
Again, I don't watch the videos. Just watch. If I remember correctly, this looks back around at World War II.
In the years following the 1929 stock market crash, 150
It's a bomb site. Okay. So that's an interesting one. Not something you see every day. This gallery back here is closed. Okay, so aircraft plant in Nashville. And we have a little blurb about the secret city, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I did live there.
1930s, constructed trail,
I guess I went around backwards there because this is now 32. Wood cook stove, 1920 to 1940. You know, it would be more reliable if the power went out.
But by 1934, EFA established a quota for hiring African Americans. Enabling workers both skilled and civilians.
Walk around now.
Tennessee's landscape.
1945 to today. That's a big time gap here. So it says 1945 to the 2000s. Okay. So we're definitely going to hit a lot of stuff in this one. Children. Okay. People that personally know me know I'm not a big fan of children. So, old games. Now see, this makes me feel old because this Wheel of Fortune game we had as a kid growing up. I remember buying it at a garage sale and playing with it. Was it worth something? I mean, I think everyone had this Trivial Pursuit game, but I was like, the Wheel of Fortune, I'm like, yeah, we had one of those. Sports teams, you got the Predators, the Titans, the Vols, Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know those other two now. The Geiger counter. Don't see Geiger counters very often. Fallout protection. What to know and do about nuclear attack. Do you open it up and it says, well, you're done. It's what they always said when we lived in Oak Ridge, was if there's a nuclear attack, you're done. Korean War. Stuff, but what I was trying to get over here too was the Kingston Springs, Tennessee, because I remember 2010, the Nashville flood. I lived in Pegram, which was a stone's throw away from Kingston Springs, and Pegram was hit pretty hard too. And this mask and gloves picking up from the flooding. It's interesting, they don't really, I guess there's kind of imagery up there with some of the destruction and stuff, but it's not really, it doesn't specifically call it out. Ooh, here's the technological age. Now, this is one of my favorites here. Check out that CRT monitor. I think our family had one of these. I'm pretty sure we did. This exact model. That's a monstrosity of things. And that's that's something that even the not young folks anymore, even the people my age, don't usually remember when computer screens were big. But hey, we do have the small flip phones, which is funny because, that flip phone, size-wise, mass-wise, is probably actually smaller than the phone I currently have. Like the SimCity 2000 up there, as well as the Game Boy. Never did actually check to see if there was Wi-Fi here. Probably should have done that. Doesn't look like it, but alright, so let's see. Oh, hold on, actually it does. It is saying there might be Wi-Fi. We'll see if I end up with Wi-Fi or not. It did pop up like it was going to connect. There we go. It's probably gonna be just straight connected. Okay, that's a scary security thing. Sit-ins in Nashville. Maybe there's a Clinton Gore sticker. Here we go. African Americans for Clinton. Alright, so I think we made it to today, which I think means we made it. So I was going to try to find a good spot to sit for a minute. Decide what the next move was, but there's still a little bit of a walk down the wall.
Over 9 years, about 70,000 students found important.
There we go. There's the record shop. Oh, hey, look, here's a nice. Oh, I guess there is some extra stuff here. World Fair comes to Knoxville. Gore becomes vice president. We have a Tennessean in space. Okay. Alright, let's come over here and have a seat for a minute and figure out what we want to do next. Oh, wow. Now, let's see what's going on. I don't know if the mic did any better or worse, but I didn't even look to see if there were settings on here at all. I didn't charge at all, so I'll probably have to end out once we get back to the car, because I don't really think the heat. I think the heat's going to be the biggest issue. I'm just going to have to head back home. But let's see what time it is. 12:15. I mean, enough for a test stream with non-interesting content. I probably should have just started when I got here instead of having you along for the drive, but I figured why not. Okay. So I guess let's walk back to the car. There are a couple more displays here. I'm not going to go in. There's going to be. This is not the one I thought it was. This is the one that's about music. Okay, I can go in here. About music through the ages. Some Indian music, some maracas. It's almost like going to Mexico. Sorry, I was going a little bit too fast on that pan. Additional folk music. You got the pew from the run. If you do come to Nashville, you do need to go to the run, just because that's where everyone goes. Jukeboxes. Combination of radio, some other radios and stuff. 6 USA. Yeah, Kurdish music. interesting. I'm not really sure I realized what area of the world was considered the Kurdish area. I do know there is a lot of Kurdish in Nashville. Okay, now we'll head out. Head out back into the heat is more like it. No, this is photography in Tennessee. This one's going to be dark, so it's going to be hard to see. Let me turn the screen brightness down. This is much more interesting than the furniture that was in here last time we were in here. Don't know if you guys will be able to see these with the glare. Small, little, tiny images. These are, I mean, that's, come on, it'll be okay. It's 1850s. So, I mean, 1850s photography. You know, I take photography and I do photos in the 2020s, and that's kind of crazy when you think about, you know, photography taken that long ago. Because that one's 1855. And I mean, I know they can't, these are original photos, so you can't really blow them up. This is 1880s again. Sorry, trying to get the gimbal to play nice. Just trying to decide if it wants to be vertical or not. I mean, crazy little photography pieces. Market at Nashville, 1855. So you remember we went down Broadway. We drove down Broadway, and that's probably a piece of Broadway in 1855. Northwest corner of Public Square. It's just insane to see how long they are. There's an actual camera over here. These are some small ones. Cameras from the 1860s. I can let it brighten it up a little bit so you can actually see it there. That last one is at least a 1903, so I mean it's only 120 years old. Imagine making something today that would last 120 years. I was talking about the way you dressed up to have a photo taken of you. But it makes sense because, I mean, you're probably going to, if you're having a photo taken in these time periods, you're only ever going to have one photo taken of you ever. So you want to look good. Just imagine that. How many millions of photos we have of us today. Imagine the concept that if you only had one photo to take. Oh, no, that's a big camera. We'll go look at it here in a second. Some of these have been blown up, so I like the little bit larger ones looking at now. It's about 1900. That first one was at Fisk. Okay. So then check out this camera. I mean, I guess resolution-wise, a larger medium you shoot on. So this is The view camera was Bosch and Loom lens, early 1900s. Goodness. That's crazy. Now there's some cute little ones. I mean, that's a Rainbow Hawkeye by the Kodak Company, 1913 to 1930. We've got some old cameras. Alright. How to Make Good Pictures from 1930. Maybe I need to read that. Maybe that's some of my problem. I guess I was supposed to start. No, well, that was a cool little bonus exhibit there. I'll get that. That was a nice one because it was quiet. Wasn't quite as cool in there as I wanted it to be, but get the screen brightness to come back up some. Okay, I think we are probably good. Oh. We can head back to the car. Get that backpack on. I forgot about the mic. Okay. Yeah, the sound is probably off right now because I'm working on getting the mic situated back on me. Decent spot. There we go. Okay. Let me go back to 0 on exposure. Alright. Yeah, it's a free one. It's worth seeing. It's got some interesting stuff. We'll see once I get outside. Let's see which direction is going to be quicker. It's probably actually going to be... Oh, back down the same way we came in. Yeah, I don't know. That museum is good because it's free, but definitely I wouldn't have wanted to pay to go into it. I remember when we came last time, it was a little bit hard because we also went to the Country Music Hall of Fame, saying it is the staple of Nashville. It's definitely amazing. But alright, we're back out into the heat. My battery is running low, so once we get back to the car, we're going to call it quits for today. Again, this was somewhat a test. I guess it didn't really end up being a test. It really just ended up being me rambling on, killing time, doing something, I would say productive, but I don't know how productive it was. Doing something with my day was really all this ended up being. I was gonna have a really cool OBS setup. I was gonna try to do some location tracking. I was gonna test out the SRT connections. And then my computer at home decided it didn't want to be able to stream at a decent quality to YouTube. So, but I still had the stream set up, so I was like, hey, why not? Just switched back over to Prism and went back to the backup plan. Sometimes the backup plan is how it goes. But we'll get back to the car, we'll shut her down, and I'll go sweat in traffic trying to get out of here. Look at all these people trying to get in here now. It's like you're just gonna have to go, my friend. I was like, because you have the right of way and those people don't. But as we walk back to the car, it's just enjoy the views. I don't know. I'm not actually sweating that bad today yet, but I'm sure, you know, by the time I get back to the car, and it's still not bad in the shade, so I will definitely say, you know, the shade's not horrible. 80 degrees in the shade. Could be worse. I could be at Disney where it's like 110 degrees, but Picture of the Capitol with a train coming across. There's a nice big park over here. And if you lived around here, it would be a nice spot to come walk. I mean, most of the path is even in the shade for good part of the day. Depending on how you walked it, you could probably be about 60-70% in the shade. But we'll see. I'm not sure how this little mic is working or not working. The mic actually came with the gimbal, so I wasn't really planning on using it because it didn't seem like it was that good quality. I have another one too. Like, I have too much stuff. I think I have 3 different wireless mics, and I don't use any of them, so it might be worth trying to have a couple of the wireless mics. I'm just not going to pay for high-end wireless mics when I feel like the phone, for what I do that's just straight narration, generally my face is close enough to the phone, but it was nice in there, mainly just because I felt like the external mic might be picking up more of my voice, and I could see how, it almost would be nice to have like a headset, just to be like, here's the narration. Oh, I wish I had parked way down here, but there weren't any spots way down here. But we're getting there. Alright, well, I may go ahead and cut out. It's been 2 hours. That's technically a short stream, but I think that's long enough for me. Alright, well, thanks everybody. Y'all have fun. Bye, guys.